So, good morning. I just pressed record, and today's class is going to be focused on hips and heart. It's been quite a week for all of us, I know, like I don't know about the rest of you, but I feel like I've been holding my breath a lot this week and really not being able to take a full breath very much. So we'll do that this morning. We'll invite breath in, and we tend to hold a lot of emotion in our hips. Strong emotion is held there. So we'll try to work some of that out and using our hearts to support us. But I will ask if anybody has any special requests this morning before we get started. Anything?
I hold it all in neck and shoulders, so
yeah. Okay.
That's where I'm really tight.
Okay. Yeah. I love doing all those neck and shoulder openings. So let's get some of those into today too.
Thanks.
Yeah. Great. All right, well, why don't we start this morning in recline? So if you want to lay back on your mat with your knees bent or your feet on the floor, and your knees can be bent in towards each other. And in this reclined position, if you have a block or a pillow nearby to put on your belly, that can be very calming and soothing, a little extra weight on your belly. Pull that in. Taking your time to settle in here. Feeling your back on the floor. Hopefully if you could feel a little that natural curve in your low back, where you could slide your hand under your low back. So there's some space there as you lie in this position. Welcome, Josie. Glad you could make it. We're starting, Josie, reclined position on just lying flat on your mat with feet are on the floor and your knees can be bent and touching each other, just to nice for your low back. Wide apart on the mat. With the natural curves in your low back, as you start to inhale, you hopefully can feel your low back expand on the floor. And exhale, as you exhale, that space is created between your back and the floor. Just noticing how it feels to just breathe naturally, not forcing your breath, but to breathe through your nose if that's comfortable in your sinuses this morning. I find that also when I'm stressed and tense, I tend to breathe more out of my mouth. But when we breathe in and out through our nose, the passage of air through our sinuses is actually very calming to our nervous system, much more calming than breathing in and out of our mouths. So just taking a time here to become familiar with your natural breath. Maybe noticing anywhere that you're holding on this morning that you can let go. That might be physically holding on or mentally or emotionally holding on. Allowing the breath to create space and expansion in your physical body, emotional body, and mental body. Taking a minute to see if an intention bubbles up for our practice this morning. An intention can be something as simple as remembering to come back to your breath and this present moment. It may be noticing any times that you find yourself in judgment of yourself or others. Your intention may be to bring a slight smile to your lips more often through the practice this morning, to take yourself less seriously, find the little joys in moving in these bodies, as complicated as they are. And taking in these words by John O'Donohue, his poem called Courage, part of his poem. Steady yourself and see that it is your own thinking that darkens the world. Search and you will find a diamond thought of light. Know that you are not alone and that this darkness has purpose. Gradually, it will school your eyes to find the one gift your life requires, hidden within this night corner. Invoke the learning of every suffering you have suffered. Close your eyes, gather all the kindling about your heart to create one spark. That is all you need to nourish the flame that will cleanse the dark of its weight of festered fear. A new confidence will come alive to urge you toward higher ground, where your imagination will learn to engage difficulty and its most rewarding threshold. Close your eyes. Gather all the kindling about your heart to create one spark. That is all you need to nourish the flame that will cleanse the dark of its weight of festered fear. So taking time now to, if you have a block or a blanket on your belly, to move that off to the side. And take a big, long stretch, stretching out maybe right hand and right foot on the right side, and then the left. And then let it all go with a sigh. Ah. Let's do that again. A big full body stretch. Fingers are pointing, toes are pointing. Inhale, exhale with a sigh. Ah. And then we'll slide the feet back to bent position and inhale first the left knee. And if you have your strap handy, you can take the strap around the ball of the left foot. And you can decide here if it feels okay in your low back to slide your right foot out long. If that feels like it creates a little too much tension in the low back, you can keep that right foot planted on the ground. And let's just bend and straighten that left leg a few times. You can use a towel or a shirt if you don't have a strap handy, so that you can really relax everything except that left leg is getting a nice stretch. Maybe now making some circles with that left leg, imagining the left femur bone moving in the hip socket, lubricating this hip joint, inviting out any tension or motion or stuck energy, changing directions of your circle if you haven't already. And then let's invite the strap into your left hand. Right hand can come to the right hip to remind the hip to stay connected to the ground. Inhaling at center, exhale will allow that left leg to open to the left any amount. You might not have to go far before you start to feel a big sensation in the right hip, or you might feel it in the back of the left leg. Just playing here. Breathing. As you inhale, the leg might lift a little closer to center, and then as you exhale, you might find a little more opening in that left hip. Just taking time to explore here. You might even allow your eyes to close. Where can you let go of tension and holding, and let the work really happen in the hips? And then we'll inhale the left leg to center, switching the strap to the right hand. Left hand comes out to the left side. Inhaling at center, and exhale, that left leg just moves maybe 4 or 6 inches to the right. Doesn't have to move far to feel a pretty intense stretch along the IT band and outside of the left leg. And again, just adding like mini microscopic movements here to encourage movement, not stagnation. We want to flush any tension and stiffness from this hip. Micro movements. And then inhaling to center. Let's slide the right foot up to meet the left in the strap. It's a little tricky way to switch your legs in the strap. And then you get to decide here, do you want that left leg bent on the mat or sliding the left leg out if you have no stiffness or tension in the low back. And let's bend and straighten the right leg in the strap. Maybe pointing and flexing the foot too, encouraging that ankle movement. Listening to your body. How would this right leg like to open up this morning? And then with the hands holding the strap in the right hand, the left hand comes to the left hip. We'll inhale at center and exhale, open the leg towards the right. Right leg moves towards the right. Any amount. If you're feeling a lot of sensation here, back it off. Breathe and come in with wisdom and listening. Inhale might bring you more towards center, and your exhale might bring you a little bit farther into the stretch on the right side. Notice if you're holding on to tension in your jaw. Let it all go except for the action in the right leg. And then we'll inhale that right leg to center and switch the grip of the strap to the left hand. Right hand comes out to the right side. Inhaling here at center, and exhale, right leg moves to the left, maybe just 4 to 6 inches. And notice, woo-wee. I don't know about you, but that is tight. So micro movements here. When things are tight, we can tend to hold our breath and stop breathing, right, Kate? So we got to add the micro movements. Wiggle your toes of the right foot. Bringing breath in. Finding that little smile that reminds you not to take yourself so seriously. And then inhaling that right leg to center. Exhale, we'll let the strap come out and then let the right leg extend flat on the floor. Inhale, arms lift overhead. Exhale, left knee comes to the chest. Let's take some little circles of that with that left knee. They're very small circles here, again, lubricating the left hip. Inhale, long, everything extends. Exhale, right knee to chest. Little circles here. Inhale, long. Exhale, both knees come to the chest. Maybe rocking from side to side here. Even let your head and your brain rock. Imagine that your brain could slosh around in your head. Just let your brain relax. And then we'll add some rocks here. If it's safe to do spinal rocking, it's your spine. If not, you can just come to hands and knees position. If you want to try some spinal rocking, kind of rolling on all the vertebrae of your spine until you find yourself sitting, and then we're going to spin around so that we're lying flat on our mats, on our bellies. So lying on our bellies now, let's just make a little pillow for our head with our hands, allowing your forehead to be supported. Let's try that. We'll take a big inhale. Exhale with a sigh. Maybe allow your hips to move from side to side, releasing your low back and your hips. And just notice what it feels like to be here on your belly. Feeling the support of the earth on the front side of your body is a totally different experience. You imagine yourself lying in the grass on your belly. It just is like this feeling of total relaxation, like a little gift to yourself. Remembering you can come back here at any time during our practice this morning or anytime in your days ahead when you're feeling you need this level of calming to your nervous system. And now we'll slide our hands back towards our chest and forehead can be on the floor. I'm going to do some warm-ups for our back here. So allowing your legs to stretch behind you and feet and toenails to click into the floor so that your legs are engaged, feeling your pelvis make a connection to the mat, and that in doing so, protecting the low back. Let's take a nice inhale and lift into a baby cobra. So head, neck, and shoulders come off the ground. Allow your chin to drop to your chest to protect your neck. And exhale, release. Do this a few more times. Feet engage, pelvis engage, hands engage. Inhale, baby cobra. And you get to decide whether this is safe in your body today. Exhale, release. This time, feet engage, pelvis engage. Roll your shoulders towards your ears and then shoulder blades engage on the back, creating a little nest in the back of the heart as you inhale. Maybe your cobra lifts a little higher. Chin still dropping towards the chest, protecting the neck. Exhale, release. Now walking hands out wide off of your mat. So my hands are still in line with my chest, but my arms are now, elbows are at a 90-degree position. Hands are on fingertips. So we'll click our feet into place, pelvis engages, inhale, lifting into cobra, exhale, right shoulder drops towards the mat. Nice stretch in the right shoulder, looking underneath that left arm. Taking another full round of breath here. Inhaling to center. Exhale, left shoulder drops towards the mat. Gaze moves underneath the right arm. Full round of breath here. Inhale to center. One more time each side. Right shoulder drops. Gaze looks back towards the left hip. Inhale to center. Exhale, left shoulder drops. Gaze back towards the right hip. Inhale, exhale, lying all the way back down on the mat. Create a pillow with your hands again. Feet, legs bend at the knees for some windshield wipers and on belly down, windshield wipers. Feet rock from side to side, releasing the low back. Take a big inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth with a sigh. Exhale, let it all go. Again, find that support and nourishment from the earth. coming up to support you in this belly down pose. And then hands slide back towards the chest. Let's lift up into tabletop position, and then if it's safe in your body, back down into child. And then moving the torso through the hands as we come into a cow pose. Gaze is looking ahead. And exhale, cat pose. Chin drops, head releases. Exhale, hips come back to the heels. And then sliding forward again through the hands, the cow pose. A few more times like this at your own pace. Noticing your breath filling the backside of the body. Making this movement meditative in its timing with the breath. Next time you find yourself in tabletop position, walking the hands on fingertips off to the left side, off the mat, on the left side of the mat. So I'm up on my fingertips and both my hands are off the left side of the mat. I'm going to exhale and let my hips fall back towards child's pose. I might not go all the way back, because I can already feel the big opening on the right side of the body from right around my shoulder. So let your head relax here. Take a full round of breath. And then inhale, walking hands towards center. And then hands walk off to the right side of the mat. Tented up on fingertips. Inhaling here and exhale, hips move back towards child's, any amount. Head releases, shake your head yes and no. And then we'll inhale, hands come into table position, and we'll sit back here. If it's not, doesn't feel okay to sit back on your knees, you can come just to sitting, cross-legged with a lift, or you might even take a block and sit on a block here just for a minute. We'll just take a minute to drop our chins to the chest, and then right ear to right shoulder. Exhale, chin rolls towards center. And inhale, left ear to left shoulder. And just exploring in your own pace this organic movement. Slowing down when you feel tight spaces, maybe adding some shoulder circles, or circling out with your hand, opposite hand where you're feeling tightness. So right now I'm really tight on the right side of my neck. So I'm circling out with my right hand. Then let's all take some nice big shoulder rolls, rolling the shoulders up towards the ears and then back down. And then rolling the shoulders forward, changing the direction of your shoulder rolls. Inhale, arms lift towards center, and exhale, left hand drops to the floor for a nice side bend on the right side of the body. So left hand is on the floor, I'm bending towards the left. And then inhaling towards center. Right hand just dropping. Side bend towards the right. Inhale towards center. Let's do that again, both sides. So left hand drops, side bend to the left, and this time adding some shoulder circles. Oh, Lucy's doing yoga. Hi, Lucy. If you're having a lot of tension in one shoulder or the other, you might bend the elbow, that shoulder, and that helps protect that shoulder a little bit more. Inhale to center, right hand drops. Exhale, side bend to the right, adding your circles here. Lingering here as long as you need. You can catch up with us, but if this is just what you need right now, or you need to be opening, feel free to stay here. For the rest of us who are moving on, we're going to find ourselves, if it works to be in your body, to kneel. We'll do a little camel pose prep. So toes are going to curl under and coming to kneeling on your mats so that you're just kneeling in an upright position. So nice to be warm enough outside that can be taking off layers. So camel pose prep. Camel pose is a big opening across the heart. So when we're releasing a lot of emotion in the hips, I think it's also really important to be taking care of our hearts and knowing that our hearts need to be supported, but also to be strong and open and participating in the world, right? So let's let our hands come to the low back with fingers pointing down towards the buttocks. Toes are curled under. Just big inhale here, and let yourself feel the support of your hands on your back. You're not having to move far into this pose at this point. Elbows are, shoulder blades are engaged on the back. Elbows are moving towards each other, though not gripping. And what does it feel like to trust in the support of your ribs and your spine, to create a little nest for your heart on the backside of your body? So without moving much here, just breathing in this position, can you feel the front side of your body opening and expanding? This takes strength in your core to keep your hips from moving back or jutting forward. So you're really having to pull strength from your core to stay solid in your center and allowing yourself to open along your chest and your sternum. If you're comfortable here, you might play with dropping your one hand towards your heel. And then maybe drop your other hand towards the heel. If this is safe in your low back, both hands can reach for the heels. And again, notice, are you jutting forward or leaning back? Can you be just in your center position? Slowly allowing the hands to come back to the hips, and then finding your way into child's pose, very slowly, taking time here to move gently in your body. Hands come to, forehead comes to hands. Remembering your intention for practice this morning. And then on your next inhale, finding your way to seated on your mat with your feet wide apart. And we'll drop the knees to the right and then to the left for some windshield wiper poses. Kate's favorite. We all need it, but Kate reminds me every time how much we need it. And the next time stay here as long as you need. Remember that this is your practice. I'm just a guide. So whatever, if something's really working for you and you just don't want to leave it yet, no rush, like not at all. So I'm letting my knees drop to the right to set up for a half circle. So my right foot is kind of nestled close to my left thigh. Right hand plants behind the right thigh. Left hand reaches back over my left foot. And then I'm going to take an inhale and sweep and lift up onto my knees, up onto the fingertips of my right hand for a nice opening in that left hip flexor, left psoas. Maybe allow the gaze to look down at the right hand to release any tension in your neck. Circle out the wrist of the left hand. Feel the strength in your core to hold you in this position. Exhale, hips come back to the floor. We'll do that 2 more times. So sweeping up like you're moving through water, coming up onto the fingertips of the right hand if that works in your body, or a fist on that right hand. Exhale, hips come back to the floor. Inhale, moving slowly, meditation in motion. Gaze can fall to the floor. Adding some circling with that left arm now. Can you circle your arm in such a way that when you find a really lovely part of the stretch, you slow down and explore there with micro movements? How often do we rush through the really beautiful parts of our day, nourishing parts of our day? Can we take a little more time to learn how to linger there? Exhale, hips come to the floor, coming back into windshield wiper pose. And the next time your knees fall to the left, left foot is somewhere near the right thigh, left hand plants, right hand reaches behind. Inhale, sweeping up through water, allowing that opening to be felt all on the right side of the body. Gaze falls to the left hand. Feeling your inhale expand. Exhale, support. On your next exhale, let your hips fall to the floor. 2 more times, your own pace. You know where we're going. Might add some circling with that right shoulder if you haven't done so already. Allowing your gaze to look down. And again, noticing where could you linger here and just add breath. Add spaciousness. And exhale, hips come to the floor. Let's spin ourselves around towards the fronts of our mat, setting up for downward dog. Hips lift into downward dog, walking out feet. And let's, on an inhale, lift the left leg into three-legged dog. And just play here, maybe with opening and closing that left hip, so your left hip lifts towards the sky and then rotates back down towards the floor. Maybe bending at the knee and making some big circles with this left hip in both directions. And then third option is to allow that left foot to drop back behind so that you have another nice opening on that left side body. Notice if the weight has gone into your right hand and move your weight back towards center over both hands. And then we'll move this left leg in towards the left hand, setting up for a pigeon pose. If you practice pigeon pose regularly, feel free to set yourself up and move into pigeon pose on this side. I'm going to offer a modification here, and great modifications. If you know figure four stretch is better for your knees, you can get on your back for that. So one modification, I'm going to spin myself so you can see. If you have a lot of tension in your knees, and you know that traditional pigeon pose doesn't work well in your body, you can set yourself up like we did for that half circle pose. And so my right foot is nestled in towards, my left foot is nestled in towards my right knee. I'm spinning my torso over my left knee. And you can walk your hands down here any amount. And this is the same opening as a pigeon pose. You're opening the left side of the hip. You could, if it works in your body, come down to your forearms and stack. You might stack your fists to create support for your hands. If you have a block handy, you could pull a block under your forehead or add pillows, whatever it would take to support yourself here. If that doesn't work in your body and you know that figure four stretch on your back is a better choice, feel free to move there. If you're in a more traditional pigeon pose, allowing yourself to settle and let go of anywhere you're holding on here. Allow the stretch to do its work. Allow the breath to enter those far away places. Relax your jaw. Relax the muscles behind your eyes. Notice if your breathing has become more shallow, because this is an intense posture. And allow your breath to reach your back, your low back, your side ribs. Invite your breath into your right toes. your fingertips. And on your next inhale, find your way, slow, ever so slowly. Right toes will tuck under, lifting up into downward dog again. Walking out your dog. Pausing in dog to notice if you notice any differences from side to side. And then on an inhale, we'll lift the right foot into three-legged dog. And again, opening and closing that right hip, or making circles with the knee, that right leg in both directions. Or maybe allowing the right foot to drop behind for a big opening in the hip flexor. And then inhaling, right. This is what we just did? We just do right side? No, right knee comes towards the right wrist, setting up for pigeon pose on this side, on your right side. Again, if you are I think we're on the right side. So yeah, Martha says yes. Laura says yes, great. So if you know where you're headed in your pigeon pose, set yourself up there. If you modified on the other side and you would like to follow that modification again, you would sit down on your right hip and right foot comes to the left thigh. Torso is in alignment over your right knee. Hands walk out over the right knee, and you pull in any props you need here. Blocks or pillows. And settling your head down on a support, either your hands or fists or block or a pillow. And feeling pigeon on this side, on your right side. Remembering your intention. Remembering not to take yourself so seriously. Can you invite a little smile in here, even in this pigeon pose? Imagine the breath doing its work to penetrate deep into the tissues and the fascia all around the hip girdle. Relaxing the jaw. Relaxing around their temples, your neck, shoulders. And when you're feeling complete on this side, we'll find your hands on your mat. The left toes will curl under, but then your right hip, you're going to roll onto your hip and eventually spin yourself around. So you're just lying on your back on your mat. Let's bring both knees in towards the chest, circling out with the knees, circling in one direction, and then the opposite direction. Feet come flat to the floor as you lift the hips and move the hips just a few inches to the left. And then knees lift again, arms come out into T position, setting up for a twist. Inhale, exhale, knees fall to the right, gaze is over the left arm. You might find your right hand to the outside of the left thigh. Eyes close or soft gaze. Feel your breath massage your abdominal organs. Twists are so helpful in purging emotions that are no longer useful to us. They remind us to find the balance between perseverating on the past and striving for the future. Let's inhale to center and feet find the floor. Hips lift a few inches to the right. And then knees lift, arms back out at T position. Inhaling at center. Exhale, knees fall to the left. Gaze is over the right arm. Left hand can come to the outside of the right thigh. Let everything settle here. Notice where you might be holding on. In that left hip. The neck. The brain. When you're ready, inhaling, knees to center, feet come to the floor, hips lift just to find your central spot on your mat. And then just releasing, relaxing into your Shavasana this morning, maybe pulling a prop in under your knees, maybe pulling a blanket over you or another layer. Maybe finding something to put over your eyes as an eye pillow. And I will guide us in a few minutes of Shavasana, but just know we're just at 9, almost at 9 o'clock right now. So if you need to run, please feel free to do so. If you would like to stay for a few minutes of Shavasana, allow yourself to find your position where you feel supported, maybe rocking your head from side to side to find a neutral position for your neck, chin in slightly towards the chest, maybe rocking your feet from side to side to find a neutral position for your hips. Hands can be at your side or maybe on your belly. Feeling cleansing light move through your body from the crown of your head through your neck, shoulders, down your arms, through your heart and lungs and ribs. Cleansing light moves through all of the organs of your abdomen. Through your hips. Down each leg. Through your knees, calves, ankles, heels, arches, toes. Feeling your breath arrive a little more fully in your belly. Noticing this deep peace you've created for your nervous system. Notice the quiet wisdom of your heart. As you move without rushing, maybe bringing some movement into your fingers and toes, circling out your wrists and your ankles. Finding your way to your side. Resting in fetal position. Holding on to this quiet space as you move into a seated position with a support under your hips. Allowing your eyes to stay softly closed. Allowing your hands to come right hand on the heart, left hand over right. Acknowledging your strong heart that is supported physically in your body by your lungs and your ribs, creating a nest. Trusting the support of your physical body to bring your heart into the world. May I be at peace. May my heart remain open. May I awaken to the light of my own true nature. May I be healed. May I be a source of healing for all beings. The light within me honors the light within each of you. Namaste, and thank you so much for your wisdom and attention and deep practice this morning.